So making a bit of an impromptu video today. I'm just gonna freestyle it because there was a comment that I received yesterday on one of my videos that has really struck me right in the feelers. And I've not been able to stop thinking about it ever since. And this survivor, a fellow survivor, who said that she'd been watching my videos from beginning to end, and only now it's the first time she commented. And she didn't say why, but I guess she felt the urge, or she felt compelled, or she felt the courage to do it. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am that she commented in the way that she did. She's clearly very smart. She wrote a couple of paragraphs. It was very articulate. It was like impeccable grammar. Clearly, she's got her head switched on, but she's also dealing with something quite dark because she's also a survivor and has obviously gone through something like I have too. And I can't explain how much that particular comment impacted on me. And it shifted me in many ways because historically, the whole purpose behind me creating this particular channel is to talk around the experience of a survivor in the justice system and what to expect if you are part of the justice system. And I'm still absolutely dedicated to talking about that. That is absolutely one of the key things that I'm here for. But what dawned on me is it's a fairly obvious thing, but I think I'd overlooked it, and I have to own that, is that 85% of the people that have been violated in the same way I have don't go to court, don't go to the police. And this lady is clearly one of them. And I could read from what she said that she hasn't been to the police and she's not going to go to court. And actually, the impact of living as a silent survivor, I have got an unbelievable amount of stories and experiences. And maybe that's part of the channel that I need to start tapping into as well, because the majority of rape victims don't go to the police and don't go into court. And I know that I'm a rare case. So I know that there's 80,000 people waiting to go into court, but the majority of people don't. And I would say, given that stacks up and compounds every year, year upon year, I would say there's probably millions of women and men as well, but there's millions of survivors out there that haven't done anything about it because they don't feel safe to do so. And I'm not saying that from a place of criticism. I'm saying that from a place of empathy, because I know firsthand what it is like to live as a silent survivor, because I did it for 23 years. And this lady's comment kicked me right in the feelers. There's one sentence that really stands out, and I've written it down because I don't want to read a whole comment out of just respect for her. And she said, "You telling your story is so important for us out here trying to heal." And that comment and that one sentence alone really strikes me in here. But I also know that there are so many other people out there that are suffering with the same thing, have experienced the same thing, and those people don't have a desire to go to the police and don't have a desire to go in court. And I fully respect that. And I know that in the experiences I've shared in this channel, I'm not selling it well, although I need to make another video on that, but I digress. The point that I'm getting to is that when this lady comments like that, I don't think she even realizes maybe how much she will then enable other survivors to say, "Me too, I'm a survivor," and do it shamelessly and be willing to own it in the way that she did, which I'm super proud of her for, because the fact that she'd watched only my videos and it taken a while to comment, it just shows that it gives eventually permission to people to talk openly about what happens to them. I'm kind of assuming these things. I'm not saying that is exactly what her experience is, but that was what happened to me as well. I remember the very first time I heard somebody talk openly around being raped. And I was in the front stage of an event, and there was 250, 300 people there. And I was right at the front, and this guy on stage received a question. And he actually said he'd never spoken about it openly before, but since you've asked that, he was actually raped. And the whole room just went quiet. And my jaw hit the ground because I was on the cusp of coming to the police, but I was like, holy Moses, like this guy is talking about the thing that has saturated so much of my emotions and changed how I feel about myself for my entire life. And this guy here is just talking about it so openly. And here I am hiding it from the world because at that point, nobody still knew. And one person gives another person permission, and one person gives somebody else permission. And I know there is an absolute army of people out there that have dealt with the same thing. The first time I broke my silence, it was on LinkedIn and I remember the date, it was like 18th of January. And I put this post out and I said, this thing happened. This is what I've been dealing with. It's been really hard. I was very matter of fact about it, but I got it out there. I just needed to kind of break my silence in that way. And I received an unbelievable amount of messages, either from Me Too people that had gone through something similar, or people that were dealing with their wife who has dealt with it, or their daughter, or their sister, or whoever. And the way I see it, it's almost like if I walk into a room, say there's a busy room of 200 or 300 people, and I could go around and say, everybody here that's been sexually assaulted one way or another, please wear a high vis top. And then those people just had to walk around wearing this top. There will be an absolute abundance of people wearing it because I see from the other side, because I've been violated and I talk openly about what happened to me and my experience of it, I get more people coming to me going, me too, because they feel safe to say me too. It doesn't feel safe to say this thing happened to me to somebody else if you don't know they've been through it. So all these people that are surrounded by other survivors are living in a isolated place most of the time because they don't realize how many people are actually in the same boat. And that is one of the biggest motivations for me to create this channel. But the other thing, this lady who commented, she created a shift in me last night. I actually was reduced to tears by reading what she wrote because I have spent so much time thinking about this channel and what I wanted to share. Because when I was going into the build up to going into court, I looked high and low for anything around what was the examination going to be like, how aggressive were the barristers going to be like, what does the court look like, what the judge is going to be like, how long does it last. I had so many questions around what the actual process looked like, and I couldn't find those questions anywhere when I looked high and low. The best I could find is that I asked everybody that would listen to me. My brother had a colleague whose mum had been in the jury system for a rape trial, so she was willing to speak to me. But even in that trial, the rape survivor wasn't actually attending, so she could only give me half of what I was looking for. So I thought if I can create a channel and help other people, the 80,000 people that are in that queue to go and do the same thing, that would be useful. But maybe what I've underestimated, which is where this beautiful soul that made this comment yesterday on my video, is that it's opened my eyes to the fact that this channel shouldn't just be about the people in the justice system, bearing in mind that 85% of people don't go to the police and have no desire to go to the police and don't want to go into court. And I fully respect that. But those people live in silence. And I believe that they probably feel very misunderstood or they feel very alone with their experience because that was how I lived for 23 years. I know what it is like to be a silent survivor before going to the police. And I may never have gone to the police, and not everybody will go to the police, but that experience for 23 years is where I was. And it is bloody hard because there are days when you don't even think about it. There's days when you don't give a flying monkeys. And there's other days when you're an absolute crumpled mess. And at the point when I went to the police, there was probably less I could count on one hand of people that actually knew the full story beginning to end. And those people over 20 odd years had heard the story many a times. It had come up in conversations when I was hanging out with them. Like, there's only so many times you can talk about the same thing and it not start getting a bit repetitive. You don't want to be a burden to other people. So you end up kind of just suppressing it and deal with it in these sporadic experiences that you have to then deal with. And I know what that's like. And I think that given this lady's comment, it's opened my eyes to, I probably need to talk more around my 23 years experience of being a survivor before the justice system and not just exclusively around being part of the justice system and how difficult the justice system is. But I now realize I probably need to start creating content around what it feels like to deal with being raped, to deal with being a silent survivor, even if you're not even that silent and everybody knows, if you're not willing to go to the police, which I fully understand, it's not a place of judgment, how it feels and the impact on that individual of surviving and trying to lead a normal life. Because another thing this lovely lady wrote in this comment is about how it looks like you've moved on to onlookers. And I get it. She's bang on. She is so right. People think, well, this thing happened years ago. And I don't know how long ago this lady was violated, but it's clearly historic to some degree, whether it's 1 year or 20 years, I don't know. But there is this expectation of people that know you. It's like, well, she's doing well in her career and she's doing well in her sports and she's doing well doing this and she's doing well doing that. So she's fine. No, you're just containing it. And it doesn't mean that it impacts on your life every single day and you can't operate. You have to deal with these, what is it? These experiences that are part of what happened to you. And like this lady said, your life is never going to be the same again after having experienced it. And I know what that feels like. And I want other people to feel understood. I want other people to feel believed. I want other people to feel like they're seen and understood in this way that maybe other people don't understand unless they've been through something similar. So this lady has made a big impact on how I view this channel and the types of content I'm going to put out. If this lady is watching, you have changed how I view it, and I'm very grateful for that. And please don't stop commenting, because we need other people to be willing to speak out and share their own experiences so other people don't feel so alone. So there's no real conclusion around what I'm saying in this video other than that comment has changed how I feel massively. It has shaped what I'm going to do in the future and where I'm going to dedicate my time to. It has shaped the type of content I'm going to likely share, which is going to take a high level of vulnerability for me, I think, because there's been some things that I've thought I can't share that. It's just way too much. But maybe I'm just going to go, do you know what, hell to it? Because if I've experienced it, I want people to know that you're not alone, because I'm one of you, and there is another truck ton of people out there that have gone through the same thing. So as I sign off on this video, please consider, if you are a survivor and you know other survivors, or you know people that know people who are survivors, consider sharing this content, because I need to reach more people like the lady that commented yesterday, because that shifted something in me and motivated me in a way that I didn't expect. So thank you to that lady. And I just hope that this has an impact moving forward to other people that have gone through something similar.